church, CrossRoads Kids. Let's worship.
Hello, CrossRoads Kids! It's time for the big idea here in Caper's Corner. Today's big idea is you can help others know Jesus. And you know what else you can know? Your memory verse. I hope it's going well, but let's take some time to work on it together.
Grace, you have been saved through faith, and it's not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God, for it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and it's not from yourselves, it is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. Yourselves, it is the gift of God. gift of God. It is the gift of God. La-di-da, la-di-da. Oh, not from yourselves. It is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. La-di-da, la-di-da, la-di-da. Oh, not from yourselves. It is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. La-di-da. Hey. La-di-da, la-di-da. Oh, not from yourselves. It is the gift of God. It is the gift of God. La-di-da. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and it's not from yourselves. It is the gift of God. It is the gift of God.
Have you ever watched a movie with friends? You're eating your chips and you're just having a good time. But the only catch is, you've seen the movie and your friends haven't. And it gets to that part in the scene where it's a little scary, or it's a little intense, and they don't know what's going on. But you do. You've got the inside scoop because you have seen the movie. And so you're watching it, and the movie is playing, and everybody's worried. But you're not really that worried because you know what's going on. You've got the advantage. And have you ever thought about maybe being like, hey guys, don't worry, it's going to be okay, this is what's going to happen? Well, you don't want to spoil. You don't want to spoil the movie for them, but you know it's going to be okay. You have the answers. And today, we're going to look at a story from the life of Paul, where he comes in and he's talking to some people, and he knows he's got the answer. And you know what? He's going to spoil it for them. He wants them to know about who Jesus is. That they've been living life a certain way, and he wants to help them focus in on the fact that the answer to their life is Jesus. He spoils the movie for them, and he tells them about it. And we're going to see what happens in that story. So take a look about what our friends from Orange have to say about this.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how he created us and loves us so much that he made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Acts, chapter 17, verses 16 through 34.
Wherever Paul went, he boldly preached the good news of Jesus.
This Jesus I'm telling you about is the Messiah.
Many Jews and Greeks believed in Jesus, but in nearly every town, a group of Jews would gather to oppose Paul. He and his companions were forced out of Thessalonica, and then later that same group of Jews followed to run Paul out of Berea. Eventually, the believers helped Paul escape to the coast, where he could travel by boat to Athens.
Tell Silas and Timothy to join me as soon as they can.
Once Paul reached Athens, he walked the streets of the ancient city, disturbed by what he saw. Carved and molded statues everywhere.
Statues of their gods. The people really believe false gods can help them.
In fact, the Athenians believed in around 30,000 false gods. Yeah, they believed these gods were in charge of everything from sports to sleep to doors and cleanliness.
A god of grapes. Okay.
While Paul waited for his friends, he visited the Jewish synagogue to tell Jews and Greeks alike about Jesus. And in the marketplace, he spoke to anybody who would listen.
You have to hear about Jesus. He was killed, but
he came back to life.
Paul's words stirred up a group of Athenian thinkers. These men felt that they could achieve perfection through knowledge and wisdom.
Can you explain what this fellow is chattering about?
He seems to be telling us about gods we've never heard of.
We shall take this Paul to a meeting of the Areopagus. There, we shall reason it out.
Set high on an outcropping of rock, the Areopagus was the high court of Athens. And from this viewpoint, Paul could see all of Athens spread out below him. Closer at hand, the gathered Epicureans and Stoics studied Paul.
What is this new teaching you're giving us?
You have some strange ideas we've never heard before.
We would like to know what they mean.
Paul took a deep breath. These people treated new ideas like playthings, so he wanted to connect the story of Jesus with something they already knew.
People of Athens, I see that you are very religious in every way.
We are aware of this. Please proceed.
Paul recalled a small carved altar he had discovered while exploring the city.
As I walked around, I looked carefully at the things you worship. I even found an altar with "To an unknown God" written on it. Now, I'm going to tell you about this unknown God.
Paul explained to them that the true God created the entire world and everything in it. He created each individual person with a purpose and an adventure to live.
He did it so that people would seek him and find him, even though he is not far from any of us.
Preposterous.
Continue.
Paul knew that these Athenians might listen to the words of their own writers that might actually reflect something of who God is.
In him we live and move and exist. As some of your own poets have also said, we are his children.
An interesting point.
Paul told them that people are God's children. God is alive and real, not some carved statue or molded from gold. And now by sending Jesus, God was telling everyone everywhere to turn away from the bad things they've done and to follow him.
God has proved this to everyone by raising Jesus from the dead.
Preposterous.
Fascinating.
More like fantasy. Get this joker out of here.
No. This is new, fresh. We will hear you speak about this again sometime.
A man called Dionysius had been among the crowd at the Areopagus. He hurried to catch up as Paul left.
I want to know more about this living God, about Jesus.
I can help you, friend.
So Paul continued to spread the good news and love of Jesus, and after a short time, Dionysius became a follower of Jesus, as well as a woman named Damaris and several others.
Well, it's a good story. I'm still watching the movie. Today we talked about Paul. Paul, how he has the answer for these philosophers and thinkers about Jesus, that he spoils it for them. They think that the world works this way, and he says, no, you need to focus in. Jesus, God, created all this. He's a spoiler. And what we want you to be thinking about today is that you can help others know Jesus. You can help others know Jesus. Paul does this. He helps them know Jesus. And how do we do that as kids? Well, two things I want you to be thinking about today. As a kid, one is this: pray. Who's one person in your life who doesn't know Jesus? And pray. Pray that God would give you an opportunity to be able to tell them about Jesus, and pray that Jesus would help them. And it would just look like this. You would say a prayer like this: Dear Jesus, I pray today for Dylan, that you would give me an opportunity to help him know Jesus, and that you would get him ready to talk about who Jesus is. It could be as simple as that, something little. that you start praying for that friend. And the second thing I would say that we do to help others know about Jesus is when we talk with our friends and when we're just spending time with them, we talk about Jesus in our life. We talk about when it's appropriate, how we're following him, what he's teaching us, what we're learning at church, what our parents are teaching us, how we're thinking about caring about other people. We just talk about Jesus. And that gives people an opportunity. Those two things, talking about Jesus and praying for one person or two people in our life, helps us help other people know about Jesus and what he's done. And luckily, it probably won't be like spoiling the movie because this is like great news for them. So, CrossRoads Kids, I hope you have a great day today and that we'll be people who help others know about Jesus by starting to pray for people and just talking about Jesus when it comes up. All right, later.